Hello students, today we will discuss about emergence of first permanent molars. In mixed dentition, the mixed dentition development of occlusion is divided into first transitional, intertransitional period and second transitional period. The first transitional period, the main two events occurs, that is emergence of first permanent molar and the exchange of incisors. Mandibular first molar is the first permanent tooth to erupt at around 6 years of age. It is also called key to the normal occlusion by angle as they play an important role in establishment and function of occlusion. The anterior-posterior positioning of permanent first molar is influenced by terminal plane relationship of deciduous second molars. Second, utilization of physiologic space and leeway space in the lower arch. Third, the differential growth of the lower jaw. These are the three main factors which determines the anterior-posterior positioning of first permanent molar. Terminal plane relationship of deciduous second molars are of three types. First is the flush terminal plane, as you see in this first diagram. Second is the mesial step. Third is the distal step. Coming to the flush terminal plane. Here, the distal surface of upper and the lower second deciduous molars are in one vertical plane. So the erupting first molar will erupt in flush or end-on relationship. To achieve class 1 relationship between the permanent maxillary and the mandibular first molar, these teeth have to move around 3 to 5 mm forward in relation to the upper molar. This is achieved by utilization of physiologic space and the leeway spaces in the lower arch, and also by the differential forward growth of mandible. So, achievement of class 1 relationship occurs at two stages, that is by early mesial shift and the late mesial shift. In early mesial shift, it occurs at early and it utilizes the primate space. Primate space is present in the maxillary arch mesial to the canine and in mandibular arch distal to the lower deciduous canine. Initially, the deciduous first and second molars will mesially shift towards these spaces, which will allow the erupting first permanent molar to erupt in a class 1 relationship. This kind of shift is called as early mesial shift, as you see in these diagrams. Next event which occurs is the late mesial shift. It occurs in the late mixed dentition period. It utilizes the leeway space. Leeway space is the difference in the mesiodistal width of erupting permanent canine, first and the second premolars, and the erupted deciduous canine, deciduous first and the second molar. The leeway space in the maxillary arch half segment, it is 0.9 mm. For whole maxillary arch, it is 1.8 mm. Whereas the leeway space in the mandibular arch is 1.7 mm, and for whole arch, it is 3.4 mm. Next terminal plane relationship is the mesial step terminal plane relationship. Here, the distal surface of the lower deciduous second molars are in more mesial than the upper deciduous second molars. The permanent molar may erupt in a class 1 relationship, but the differential growth of the mandible, if it occurs in a forward direction, it will lead to a class 3 molar relationship of the permanent maxillary and the mandibular first molars, as you see in this diagram. The mesial step of the vertical terminal plane relationship between the maxillary and the mandibular deciduous teeth change into a class 3 molar relationship if there is increased differential growth in the mandibular bone. Next is the distal step terminal plane relationship. In distal surface of the lower second deciduous molar is more distal than the upper deciduous second molar. Here, erupting permanent molar may erupt in a class 2 relationship or in end-on relationship, as you see in these two diagrams. So to summarize, to have an class 1 molar relationship of permanent maxillary and the mandibular first molar, the three main events which determines these positions, that is the flush terminal plane or a mesial step terminal plane or a distal step terminal plane relation between the deciduous teeth. The next factor which determines these positions is the spaces which is available, that is primate space or physiologic space or a leeway space. The one more factor which determines the position of these permanent molars is the differential growth of the mandible. So these three factors should be kept in mind during the eruption of permanent first molar. Thank you.